Okay, so this is the blog for the all courses that I handled so far, and for the latest course you can see that you can see watch the time here, and you can get into those course. Right now, since I am teaching analog circuit course, which is 18 EC 42 for VTU 4th semester. So from here onwards, I upload all my videos. I think so far around 3 4 class videos has to be uploaded, that I will be doing by end of the day. So students who are absent for the class and for various reasons, if the network connectivity is not there, so you can watch by just browsing my videos through this channel. Okay, so that's what information I want to convey to all of you. Okay, so do you have any doubts related to this video? Previous, even you might have seen electronic device course videos also I have uploaded here in the same channel. uh, I suggest you to go through the fundamental of MOSFET videos, MOSFET structure, JFET and other things, that's useful even for the analog circuit course, which currently it's going on. Okay. Okay, so with that, let me move on to the things that we have covered in the last class. Last class, if you can recall quickly, I will go through this material what we covered in the last class. We have derived an expression for the base current, as you are seeing here, and later we used that base current expression in order to derive the expression for the input resistance at the base. So, input resistance is the resistance that is measured between the base and emitter of a transistor by looking into the base. So, this resistance we have called as R pi. Okay, this is called as a small signal input resistance. As you can see, we are measuring between these 2 points here, base and this point here, and the emitter here, by looking into the base terminal of bipolar junction transistor. So, the mathematical expression for that, we have started with a definition here. Definition of resistance is voltage by current. In this case, it is VBE, okay, which is a small signal voltage by small signal current here. So, that is the definition for R pi. Later, we got other equivalent formulas for R pi, which is beta by GM. This shows that how this input resistance is related to the transconductance of the BJT, and we have another expression R pi in terms of thermal voltage, which is VT by IB. IB is the DC base current here, and from these these expressions we can say that R pi input resistance is proportional to beta, and input resistance, I mean the resistance at the base, is proportional to even DC collector current. Okay, so those are the conclusions we can arrive from the input resistance of BJT. Okay, so when we design an amplifier circuit, this resistance plays an important role. So that's why we measure them, we find out the expressions for them, and later on we can see the challenges that this resistance pose when we want to get an faithful amplification. Okay. The other resistance which is equally important is the emitter resistance. Even here also we first derived expression for emitter current using both AC and DC component. Okay. Then using the emitter current expression, we have derived expression for the input resistance at the emitter. R pi and RE resistance, RE is nothing but which is the emitter resistance, looks to be appears to be similar, but look at here. So R pi is measured by looking into the base, whereas RE is measured by looking into the emitter terminal of a transistor. This arrow mark shows that in which direction designer must see to calculate the resistance RE. RE and R pi, you don't see much difference in this value. We have established even a relationship between R pi and RE also. and moreover they are the internal resistances, usually they will be small values, but when the signal that needs amplification, if it is a small, in this case it's since it is a small signal amplifier, this resistance also matters a lot. Whereas for large signal this becomes redundant, we don't want to use this R pi and Re for when the applied signal is very large in magnitude. But since we are dealing here in this course the small signal amplifiers, the signal applied, AC signal between the base and emitter is typically less than 25 millivolts. So that's why this resistance also plays an important role. So Re seems to be this is an emitter resistance looking into the emitter, and it is measured again between the base and emitter only. Then we have a definition for the emitter resistor here, which is VBE by IE. It's a ratio of base emitter voltage, AC base emitter voltage to the emitter current, AC emitter current here. That is the definition for Re. Later we have different versions for this emitter resistance. We have in terms of thermal voltage, which is Re is equal to Vt by capital I. Notice here from here to here what is the change here. Small I, small e indicates it's an AC. So this is an AC signal. Okay, whereas here you can see that there is a capital I and capital E. This is a DC. Okay, you should be careful about this, AC and DC quantities, while studying this course. Okay, so here both are lower case, henceforth this is an AC component here, whereas here both are uppercase, so therefore this is going to be a DC component here. So now we have other versions for this, other expressions, formulas for this Re. Re in terms of Gm, we have 1 by Gm, since alpha is ideal value is going to be 1. So therefore this Re is inversely proportional to the Gm. So many times we expect Gm to be larger, so you can see that then you can expect the value of Re. When Gm for a transistor, Gm is the thing, but it is a VCCS component. You might have we have studied this in earlier classes also. What is this? What do you mean by VCCS component here? So the Gm tells you that to what extent the output current is strengthened with reference to the input base emitter voltage. So that's why we call this as VCCS. The behavior of a transistor here is like a VCCS, voltage controlled current source. So here we have current, which is collector current, okay, and at the input we apply AC signal as base emitter voltage. Here we apply VBE, okay, which is base emitter voltage. Let me show this with total even here also. Okay. All right. So here you can see that the total input voltage is VBE. This includes both AC and DC component, and here we have IC. The relationship between this IC, collector current, which is an output current, and base emitter voltage, okay, so is nothing but it's called as VCCS. Any changes in the base emitter voltage changes the collector current here. So the ratio of this IC by VBE gives you transconductance. So that's why Gm is very important here. Okay, we already set the unit for this. So this is since it's a current, it's ampere, and input is going to be the voltage, ampere per volt. So in this case, since it's a transistor, unit will be milliampere per volt. That is the unit for the transconductance here. Generally, we expect transconductance to be a larger value for the BJT. We also said that for compared to MOSFET, BJT has got higher transconductance here. But look at here, why I have taken this transconductance topic again here is the internal resistance, that is the emitter resistance Re, is now inversely proportional to 1 over transconductance here. One side we said transconductance should be larger value, especially for BJT it's quite a large value, and larger the transconductance, we have seen that emitter resistance will be very small. So, this is going to be higher transconductance. So, this value Re becomes very less. This is not true with reference to R pi. You can see the relationship between R pi here. Let me recall here, where is this? Okay, here also you can see there is a inverse relationship between R pi and GM here. So, their values are seems to be very less. Okay, so R pi and Re, since GM for the BJT is going to be very large. This is not true for MOSFET, because MOSFET GM, though it is large, but the internal resistance seems to be GM for this compared to BJT. MOSFET GM value is very less. So, therefore, internal resistance also quite large in case of MOSFET. So, when we discuss MOSFET, we will discuss these internal resistances, like here what we said Re and R pi, we will even discuss with MOSFET also. Okay, so, just remember this is a relationship between R pi and Re. Okay, how they are related, it is given by this. Okay, so, shortly you can remember this expression, R pi is equal to 1 plus beta times Re. Okay, this is a relationship here. Given you to solve a problem on beta and this DC collector current, anybody has solved this problem? This is an exercise problem from the textbook. This is a straightforward problem, since beta is given as 100, collector current is DC collector current, which is IC. So, here IC is 1 milliampere, beta is 100, and we are expecting you to calculate the GM. Okay, GM, Re and R pi. So, these values. Anybody has worked out this problem? If yes, let me know the answer from your side. What is GM value, Re and R pi? Because by solving this problem, you will be in a position to understand the typical values of this GM, Re and R pi. I look forward, everybody to solve problems after every topic that we cover here. So, then only you will get familiar with the topic. Simply by studying the topic does not make any sense. You need to work out the numericals like this to understand the importance of the expressions that we have derived. Okay, if you have not done it, I look forward from your side to solve this problem, and let me know in the group, okay, what is the value of GM, Re and R pi. Okay. Alright, next thing what we have discussed in the earlier class is voltage gain expression, which is most important for the transistor amplifier. We expect voltage gain to be larger for a transistor, for a voltage amplifier. Okay, so here we have derived expression for that in terms of DC collector current and thermal voltage into RC. This is the final expression for the voltage gain. Okay, since BJT, when we used as a voltage amplifier, so this is very important here. So, its expression is IC by Vt times RC. Alternative versions also, which is shown here, which is minus GM times RC here. So, this is very important here. So, AV voltage gain of a BJT when we use as voltage amplifier, its transconductance times the resistance here. So, this is inbuilt with reference to the BJT, and this is external resistor which designer will choose this value, and that gets multiplied with GM, and that will be the voltage gain of a transistor. Notice that there is a negative sign here that shows there is a 180 degree phase shift between the output voltage and the input voltage. Okay, so this is a voltage gain, therefore its output voltage is Vc here and input voltage is Vbe. Between these two you see 180 degree phase shift here. That is what negative sign shows in this expression here. So, these are the alternative versions of this expression here. Okay. So, this shows that voltage gain depends on the DC collector current here. Stability that we maintain for collector current shows that amplifier is very good or excellent amplifier here. Okay. Though there are several parameters that changes this IC, irrespective of that, if a circuit is stable, okay, so then IC will be stable. Okay, so you get stable voltage gain here. So that was the things that we covered in the last class, and let me move on to the today's class topic. In today's class we are going to discuss about separating the signal and the DC quantities. Following this topic we are going to cover even the hybrid pi model also, which is important for again examination point of view. Covering these two topics will cover this, the first two chapters on BJT with reference to module 1 here. So since we are covering almost 50% of the module 1, I suggest students to go through this each and every topic, and if you have any questions you can ask me before we move on to the MOSFETs. Okay. So today's topic is this. So let me highlight here. This is the topic I am covering in today's class. Okay, since it's online class, quickly we are able to cover the topics. So now from students point of view, you should study and understand the topics then and there itself. Especially in this course, once you study the theoretical things, solve few numericals to understand the theory behind that. Alright, let us move on to the separating the signal and the DC quantities. What do we mean by this? Since an amplifier circuit, if you look at it, has got two components. One is a DC component, others is a signal component, or this can also be called as AC component. This we have seen several times. An amplifier circuit is composed of DC and AC component. When a circuit has both a DC and AC component, okay, which theorem you apply usually in the network theory? Any guesses? To find overall voltage, I am saying. Suppose if any circuit is given to you, network theory based or any a resistor based circuit which has got both DC sources and AC sources, and you want if I ask you to find out overall voltage at the output resistor, which theorem is applicable to you? Anybody, any guesses? I think you might have come across these problems in network theory also, where in which there are AC sources, AC elements like inductor, capacitor, and DC sources, DC voltage source, DC current source. Okay. In such cases, what I would suggest is when there are multiple voltage sources or multiple current sources, you can apply superposition theorem. What does superposition theorem states? So that means superposition theorem states that we need to find the output voltage by considering one signal at a time. Okay. Either you consider DC or AC at a time. One must be one kind of the stimulus must be applied. One type of stimulus must be applied first. Then find the output voltage. Then later apply second stimulus and find the output voltage. So therefore, overall voltage will be the sum of output voltage for both the stimulus. Likewise, even here also, when we analyze circuit like amplifier, it includes both current and voltage. This is composed of both DC component and the AC component. We should have a clarity between the DC and AC component here. DC means it is a signal which is constant over time. Typically, we have a DC signal like this, which is a constant over time. The either voltage or current, okay, which is constant over time. That is a DC signal. Signal which varies with reference to time. Again, it may be the voltage or current. This is called AC signal here. So this is a DC and this is an AC. Okay. So usually the AC signal is a varying signal with reference to time, and it keeps changing every moment. Okay. So best example is sinusoidal is an AC signal, and in fact even cosine also. So DC signal in an amplifier to maintain constant bias, we need to apply DC signal, and our AC signal that needs amplification will resemble the sine waveform like this. Okay, now let us have a look at sample AC signal and DC signal that we apply for the amplifier circuit. At the input between base and emitter of an amplifier circuit, if you measure the voltage for an amplifier circuit, since amplifier has got both the AC and DC component, so now you can see that between the base and emitter of amplifier circuit there is a DC component which we indicate as VBE, This is uppercase, that is what tells you this is a DC component. Both are uppercase, you can notice here V is uppercase and B is an uppercase. So, this shows it is a DC component here. And other component which is amplifying signal or signal component is B, small b, and even V also it is small. This is an AC component here. So, these two signals simultaneously get applied at between the base and emitter. So, therefore, for an amplifier circuit at the base and emitter, we denote the voltage like this, that in turn is composed of DC signal and AC signal. Likewise, even at the output side of an amplifier circuit, if you see the collector current also it is composed of a DC current and an AC current here. Since applied is also DC and AC, so output also we get both DC and AC. In this topic, we will see that how to separate them AC and DC components. Why we need to separate? Because this only circuit which uses both AC and DC component is amplifier circuit. So, this is an amplifier circuit. This has got both AC component, which is a signal component, and the DC component. Now, the question is, why do we need to separate them in this circuit here? Because these elements what we use here, the BJT, the resistors, capacitors, DC voltage source, AC voltage source, together it has got both, we can segregate them as AC component and DC component here. Okay, now to analyze this circuit of this amplifier circuit, and to understand more details on that, we need to separate AC components and the DC components here. Okay, simultaneously we can't, it becomes difficult for us to analyze circuit when both AC and DC signals are present. Therefore, we need to separate AC and DC and analyze separately for DC, which we have done in bias circuit. And once AC is applied, then we can also find out few expressions, especially the voltage gain, current gain. So, like that we can get more details or information from the circuit here. All right. Okay, this is a sample voltage and current signals we have shown here. Likewise, you can even write for base current and collector emitter voltage. For all the voltage and current that we come across in amplifier, we can show both the DC component and the AC component here. The DC components are determined from the DC circuit and the relationship imposed by the transistor, which is also discussed earlier. What we mean by this is, okay, so DC components you can easily obtain by making AC signal as 0. Okay, so we retain only the DC components in the circuit, in the amplifier circuit. Okay, that becomes DC circuit or bias circuit. And even we have studied under the DC condition, what are the restrictions that imposed by the transistor here. We have seen the variation of base emitter voltage, how it changes the DC collector current, that is VBE variation, how it changes collector current we have seen in the very beginning, and we have also seen change in beta, how it changes the collector current also. Okay. So, these are called as in the DC condition for the DC bias circuit. Okay, so variations of the transistor parameters like this VB or beta change, or even the matter temperature variations. Okay, that also changes collector current here. Okay, so all this leads to a change in the collector current here. However, we expect a stable collector current in the output. Okay, so these things can be relationship, what changes between this IC and VB, IC and beta, IC and temperature we have discussed in the very beginning. Okay, so that's related to the DC component. Another hand, if you look at the AC component, which is representation of the signal operation of the BJT, you can also obtain by eliminating the DC sources. That means here we are writing AC equivalent circuit for an amplifier, as you are seeing here. So, this is an AC equivalent circuit of an amplifier. So, here all DC components are removed here. You only see the AC component here. For instance, you can see here there is an AC signal which is VBE. This is an AC base emitter voltage that needs amplification. Okay, so though we have shown with signs here, this is a sinusoidal signal or message signal that needs amplification is applied here, and we know that under AC condition, AC circuit, there is a resistance which is experienced between the base and emitter, and the base current here is now, the AC base current is now depends on that resistance. There is a R pi is the resistance between the base and emitter looking into the base, and the current that is flowing here depends on this voltage and the resistance of the transistor between the base and emitter. Likewise, here we have emitter current, which is also VB by RE. Okay, so VB is an AC base emitter voltage, and RE is the resistance measured between the base and emitter looking into the emitter side. So this is the emitter current, and even you can look at the AC collector current here. The expression for AC collector current is GM times VBE. Okay, now the collector current here depends on the transconductance of this BJT. So this transconductance is a standard value which comes when the transistors are manufactured. Okay, so now depending on what signal we apply VBE at the input here. Okay, so this transistor amplifies GM times, GM is decided by the, at the time of manufacturing we can find out what will be the GM for that particular transistor. So given we can see GM from the manufacturer data sheet also. Okay, GM is a standard value for a given transistor here. So once we rig up amplifier circuit, we should see what is the GM value of the transistor. Okay, based on the GM value, theoretically we can calculate what may be the output current if we know the input base emitter voltage here. That's what this IC tells you here. And there is a collector emitter voltage VCE AC component which is measured between the collector and emitter here. This VCE and IC determines the operating point, where exactly the transistor is operating in the transfer characteristics. That can be shown by this these two coordinates VCE and IC here. So therefore, this figure 1 represents the amplifier circuit with DC sources like VBE and VCC are eliminated. You don't see these sources here. You only see the AC source here. There is no DC source like VBE here, or else the VCC over here. Okay, that means we are seeing amplifier only from AC point of view, AC signal point of view. Since amplifier is composed of AC and DC, this term we eliminated, and we are seeing circuit from AC signal point of view. So this is what the AC equivalent circuit of an amplifier. What is the necessity of writing AC equivalent circuit? The reason is, when here we will get to know where all our AC signal is flowing. Okay, even though there is a DC component, we have eliminated here. This circuit loop here shows that DC current, AC current is flowing in this loop, and AC current is also flowing in this loop here. So that becomes easier for us to track where the AC input is applied, and where the AC collector current is flowing, where AC voltages exist. All these things we can easily understand when we study this AC equivalent circuit here. So when we study the total amplifier circuit, it will become difficult for us to analyze AC separately. So therefore we are applying here like similar superposition theorem, where we consider only one signal at a time. So this is an amplifier circuit which here we consider AC signal first, then we understood where exactly AC signal is flowing, then we can understand similarly the DC circuit also. This is a representation of signal operation of the BJT and not an actual amplifier circuit. I am once again reiterating here, this is not a total amplifier circuit. This is just one portion of an amplifier circuit, where exactly we apply AC signal and the AC signal gets amplified here. Okay, this is not a total or actual amplifier circuit. This is what we want to stress here for the students here. Okay. Observe that the signal voltage of an ideal DC supply does not change. The signal voltage across it will be 0, because here we any DC voltage source, across that if you have any AC, it does not change any value. So that is why we replace VBE and VCC with the short circuit okay, across them. And if the circuit had DC current sources, these would have been replaced by the open circuits here. So what we are trying to say is, when we want to draw the AC equivalent circuit, we must replace here DC voltages with short circuits, and currents especially, and DC current sources must be replaced with open circuits here. So these are the requirements when we want to write an AC equivalent circuit here. Voltage sources must be replaced with short circuits, and current sources must be replaced with open circuit. Example, let me show here. Suppose if I have here the DC voltage source as say here VCC like this. In an actual amplifier circuit, we will connect a DC voltage source such as VCC. Okay, now what we are trying to say is, if you want to draw the AC equivalent circuit, okay, so then this DC voltage source must be short circuited. So this DC source gets short circuited here. This will get eliminated here. If at all any current sources are connected here, just remove this voltage source and connect a current source here. Okay, so if you have any current source here, this gets replaced with the open circuit here. Suppose if you have a current source here, we will replace this with a open circuit here. Okay, so this is how the equivalent circuit, AC equivalent circuit is drawn from the actual amplifier circuit. Okay, this is the circuit, after removing DC quantities from the actual amplifier circuit. Okay, so figure 1 shows the expression for the current increments IB, IE, IC obtained when a small signal VB is applied. VB is nothing but AC signal is applied, and the circuit is the equivalent circuit of the transistor for small signal operation. This circuit can be called as small signal equivalent circuit of an amplifier here. Why it is called small signal? Because the overall signal that we consider here is only the AC signal, and here since the AC signal input that we apply is very small, it is not in even in volts, it is going to be in millivolts. So therefore the circuit can be called as small signal equivalent circuit. Okay, with that background we can move on to the important model of a BJT, which is hybrid pi model. Okay, any questions so far? Any queries before we move on to the hybrid pi model? Everybody is there with me? Okay, all right. Okay, this is again important model we are going to discuss in today's class, the hybrid pi model. From the textbook point of view, given the numbers as it is. So 3.6.6, that is the hybrid pi model. Here I have shown both transistor, bipolar junction transistor, that has got 3 terminals, base, emitter and collector, and its equivalent model here. So this is the pi model. Okay, pi model. Okay, that means many times instead of using actual transistor for circuit analysis, okay, so we can use this model. Okay, if you look at in inverted way, this circuit looks like a pi. That's why this is called as a pi model. Okay, so we can replace in any circuit that is made up of a BJT with the pi model like this. Okay, so that we can understand the circuit in a more easy manner when we replace BJT with its pi model now here. So when I am saying that we are replacing BJT with its pi model here, this model should work similar to the actual BJT here. 99.99% most of the models work like an actual BJT, or response that they provide is similar to that of actual BJT here. Maybe 1 or 2% there may be deviations are there due to the variations in the component values which we use in the model. One such model that provides more accuracy is this model. For every component in electronics we have an equivalent model. Even we will come across model for BJT, model for other models for BJT and models for MOSFET. It becomes easy for us to understand about more about the circuits. Okay, all right. So this is the model. Here we are going to show that how this we obtain this model. Look at this model in more detail. Here also we have a base, collector and emitter. In the model also you can see that there is a base, emitter and a collector. Between the base and the emitter there is a resistance which we have seen looking into the base side, which is an R pi resistance, and there is a, since Re is very small, we have ignored here. This is called hybrid pi model for small signal operation of the BJT, which is version 1. Let me say there is even another version of this hybrid pi model, which we will discuss later stage. So I told you the importance of how we get this resistance R pi. Okay, by understanding this circuit, the theory behind this, we came to know that there is a resistance between the base and emitter looking into the base, that is an R pi, and the AC signal that we need to apply between the base and emitter is shown here as it is here without any change here. This is an AC signal, and this is an AC current, which is base current, that is coming into the base terminal of a transistor. But within a transistor you can see that we have shown inside transistor the components that are used with dotted lines here. This box shape dotted line shows that here I can draw similar box here, you can see here. Inside BJT what all the various elements we have, okay, that is shown by this box here. In actual BJT this is the box, and here you can see here this is the box which shows. So inside BJT we have a resistance and we have a current source here. There is a dependent current source here, which, as you can see here, the magnitude of current that is flowing here is Gm times VBE. This is a dependent current source, as I already told you. This current that is flowing here is can be called as IC, which is equal to Gm times Gm times VBE. So this is Gm times VBE, this is small VBE. Okay. This VB is nothing but the voltage which is applied here. See, the reason why we call this as a dependent current source is because the current here can be altered by changing the base emitter voltage here. Or in another way I can say that the current that is flowing here is directly proportional to the base emitter voltage, okay, which is VB applied over here. So that is why this is a dependent current source here. Even in actual transistor also, the collector current that flows here, we said this in the beginning itself, this IC is nothing but it depends on the Gm of this transistor. Here we have a Gm of this transistor, and it is multiplied with base emitter voltage that is applied here, AC base emitter voltage. Okay. So that means this current is proportional to the base emitter voltage. Changes in the base emitter voltage changes the collector current here. Okay, that's base emitter voltage gets multiplied with the Gm of the transistor, and that's going to be the magnitude of the collector current here. Even in actual model also, this hybrid pi model also, we use same current source here. That's why that's the reason here we called here BJT as VCCS, right? The BJT behaves like a voltage controlled current source here. This is a current source here that is controlled by the input voltage here. That is why this name is VCCS. Okay. And between the base and emitter there is an input resistance which is R pi here. The current that we apply here has to get small drop occur across this R pi also, which is very small of course. And there is an emitter current that flows in a transistor which is same as the actual BJT, which is we have an emitter current. So that means the actual transistor and the model that designers have developed, they are equal, they are actual equivalent here. When we say equivalent here, in place of BJT in any circuit, whether it is simple circuit or complicated circuit, we can use this model for analysis purpose. Okay. All right. So this model represents a BJT as voltage controlled current source. We already said about this, and this amplifier can be called as transconductance amplifier. There is an alternative name for this, the VCCS amplifier, which is also called as transconductance amplifier. Okay. So let us now move on to the other version of this model. I hope you have cleared with this hybrid pi model. how we have arrived from the actual BJT. By studying the details of this BJT, designers have come up with this kind of the model, and this model has got only two elements. One is the resistance, other one is the current source. This is going to be a simplest model among the available models of a BJT. There are quite complex models also. Many times see, when model becomes complex, the analysis also becomes complex. The objective here is to make everybody to understand the circuit which is based on the BJT. If the model itself is complex, then analysis of the BJT circuit becomes complicated. So that's why we use simpler model like hybrid pi model. Now let us move on to the other versions of this model. Again, we look into the various formulas that we have shown here. IC can be equated to GM times VBE, and IB is nothing but it is VBE time VBE divided by R pi, and we know that the total current in a transistor is emitter current is equal to the base current and the collector current here. Now we can substitute for this IC, which is given here, the expression IB is given here. You can substitute this IB is equal to VBE by R pi, IC is equal to GM into VBE over here, and let us simplify this further. Now you can see from the first and second term, VB can be VB by R pi is taken as a common factor here. This is what the common factor. Left out in the other here is 1 plus GM times R pi. Since here we don't have R pi, that gets multiplied here. Okay, so now this GM times R pi is also equivalent to beta. Just look at previously we have discussed about this. Okay, so IE now is equivalent to the VBE by R pi into 1 plus beta. This can be written in alternative way by sending this to the denominator. So IE is equal to emitter current is equal to VB divided by R pi into R pi divided by 1 plus beta here. Now this can be called as RE. Now we can see that this IE, we got back the VB by RE, the once again the definition of the emitter current here, okay, or RE. Okay, so from this we can arrive at the different model. Let us see what changes we need to do. A slightly different equivalent circuit model can be obtained by expressing the current of the control source GMVB in terms of the base current IB as follows. Let us see how can we express GMVB, which is the output current, in terms of the base current here. So here let us consider this expression IC is equal to GMVB. Same expression is written here. Okay, so this is, let me write it here. So though we have not mentioned here, this is IC which is equal to, this is small c, okay, which is equal to GM times VBE, and GM into VB can be written as IB times R pi, and GM into R pi can be grouped together, that is multiplied with IB, the same IB term here. This GM times R pi can be called as beta, this is total term is equal to beta. So the formula for IC becomes now beta times IB. So we can write this as GM into VB is equal to beta times IB. Now look at here the change what we have done from the earlier model or version 1 model to version 2 here. Okay, so in version 1 what we have had here is in place of a current source we had the GM times VB, but now this is an alternative model. So instead of VB here, so the IB, let us assume that the input is a AC base current. If that is the input, then the corresponding output current is now beta times IB here. The current that is flowing here, the collector current, now this current here is proportional to beta times IB. This is a dependent current source. Okay, so any change in the base current here changes this the collector current here, this collector current here. So therefore this model is alternative circuit model. This model is based on the BJT behavior as current controlled current source here. As you can see here, current controlled, this is a current source here at the output, which is controlled by this base current here. So base current controlled collector current source. That is the that's the technique adopted in the this alternate circuit model here. Okay. So, I advise the students to get familiar with both the models, even though both are pi models, hybrid pi models. Hybrid is because we use here different components like resistor and current sources. That is why the name is hybrid model. The reason why they give here as a pi model, because this looks like a inverted pi. Okay, pi which is almost like this, right? Like this. This even circuit structure also looks like that. So, that is why this is called as a hybrid pi model, second version of hybrid pi model. Okay. Now, let us come to the conclusions here. The two models that we have shown here, version 1 and version 2 in the figure 1 and 2 respective. This is figure 2, version 2 model, and version 1 is here, hybrid pi model. Among them, the following conclusions can be arrived. Are simplified versions of the hybrid pi models, both are called as hybrid pi model. So, in examination you are advised to write both the models when once the examiner is asked to write about hybrid pi model. This is the most widely used model for the BJT. Even though other models exist for the BJT, pi model is the simplest model that can be used in order to analyze BJT circuits. Now, let us go for some observations here. Models, the operation of BJT, the model that we have discussed, like hybrid pi model, okay, hybrid pi model that we have discussed here, both the versions. Okay, that models the operation of a BJT. When this is the operation of BJT is exactly same as the response that we get in the hybrid pi model at a given bias point or operating point. Okay, this is in the active mode of operation. In the active mode of operation, the BJT operation and the hybrid pi model both resemble same. The model parameters, which is a GM and R pi, okay, they depend on the DC bias current. Here we have shown this through the mathematical expression also. They are depending on this GM and R pi depends on the DC collector current here. Okay. And last observation that we are making out of this model analysis is the hybrid pi model is applicable for both NPN and PNP transistor with no change in the polarities here. Without changing any polarity, the model works for even for, though we have shown only for NPN transistor here, that is even applicable for the PNP transistor without changing any polarities here. Okay. So, with that I think we have come to an end of separating AC signal from the signal component from the DC quantities. Okay. So, any questions are there? That covers, that completes this module 1 first and second chapter, and we need to start with this MOSFETs and its biasing in MOS amplifier circuits, followed with the bias circuits like fixing VGS, fixing VG, and drain to gate feedback resistor. After discussing these three bias circuits, we have to cover similar analysis even for the MOSFET also, small signal operation and modeling with reference to the MOSFET. Okay, all these chapters are covered from the textbook called Cedra Smith. I advise students to have a e-copy with you and start studying. Once college reopens, you can have a hard copy of the textbook, and then you can study more details from the hard copies as well. Okay, any questions so far for the topic that we have covered in the today's class? If you have any questions, I can take it even offline also.